Hey everybody, come on in. It's the Shawn Yankey Show. It's a conversation show that we hold every night at the same time. Whatever time it is where you are right now, that's what time this show is on. I never know what time zone to say. I don't want to discriminate against other time zones. I live in Central, which of course is the best time zone. And it's 7 here. But some places it's 8, some places it's 5. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's hard to keep up with. But this is what time we're on every day. And I was stalling a little bit there because I was having a little trouble turning off the music. But let me see who's here. Hey Carol, Susan, Helen. Hey Helen, Jack, Joan, Dolores. Man, there's a lot of people here. Nisi, Marie. We got a good group. Facebook is top fans here. Facebook is completely down. on my end. I can't see the video at all. It's funny. It happened immediately. As soon as we went live, the feed died on my end. Oh, and now I can see it. I had to pull it up in a different tab. Hold on. Well, I really don't need to be able to see the picture. I'm just glad it's on and in live, but it's telling me, sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. It's the kind of stuff they try to do to discourage me, to get me to back out and not do it. Paul says the music's very powerful and intimidating. It was too loud. The music gives me a chance to do an audio test. This is just a little independent show. I'm trying to be as professional as possible, but I'm still learning. As you can see from the title, this is episode 12. So while I've been streaming for a long time, doing little live streams, I've been serious now for 12 whole episodes. That's my audio test. I go out in the hall during that and make sure my mic is working, because there have been times, and it's very embarrassing, where I've sat here for a good amount of time just talking and nobody could hear anything I was saying. But Paul says that music makes me want to get into a jousting competition. It is, it's inspirational. It does make you want to joust. It makes you want to stab somebody with a long stick. No, but I think it's funny how Facebook messes with me. But I'm glad to see there's a good group here. Hey, Philip. I hope I saw everybody's name. Marie says that she had to refresh. Keep the music, it's really cool. Thanks, Top Fan. I made that music. I'm proud of it. On a Music Maker app. Just a free app. I'm pretty talented, you know. Kind of going to blow up any day now. But what have you guys been doing today? I had to work. I'm essential. I don't know what your status is during this pandemic, or what your experience is with it, but please share that. I want to hear about it. No matter what your experience is with it, I want to hear your views on what's going on right now. But hold on, I'm trying to get where I can see Facebook. I don't know why Facebook messes with me. Yes, I do. There is extreme censorship going on in our world, and it's been corporatized. So that's what's going on. They mess with me because I'm creating content. Forever I thought I was being paranoid, but I'm not. It's not enough to be throttled. You gotta be messed with as well, and discouraged in other ways. But okay, so we're good. I can see it. And for some reason that bothers me, and they know that it does. Hey, Raymond. Marie says you shaved your dog? Gave him his summer cut? It's a Labradoodle. I bet he's happy. You're essential, Carol? I am as well. I'm not very worried about the virus itself. Not that I'm not, taking extra precautions, washing my hands extra. Although, did you really need to be told about general hygiene? Was that super important? I guess maybe it was. I don't know. Sometimes I think I have too much hope and faith in humanity. And maybe that's the case, but I don't think anybody needed this nonstop lecture on washing your hands. But I'm doing all that, Hell, I wear gloves at work now. But I've never been super worried about it. He says, I like the music, and you are talented. Aw. And you were a U.S. Steel and Fairfield... Whoops. It's moving fast. Fairfield Works building a steel mill. When? What did I say? I don't have any idea. Steve says I worked from home, but mostly day drinking. You're living the dream, Steve. You're living the dream, and don't let anybody keep you from being happy. But a lot of people are working from home now. It's funny how many things ended up being possible to do from home, including school. My son gets his schoolwork dropped off in a tote outside. They drop off all his papers and assignments, and then they pick it up at the end of the week. It's pretty neat. I'm thinking that they could do that all the time. That would save them a lot of money, wouldn't it? Or would it? I don't know exactly how they make their money. But I know that they've been doing a pretty good job of it then, right now. And he seems to be doing fine. A lot of people would be like, well, he doesn't have anybody to go to for help. Which is true, because, Jesus, I hope he doesn't come to me for math help. But I wouldn't know how to help him with something like history. I don't know what the right answer is. I forgot what the textbook answer is. We've been lied to about history in school. Helen says, research, research, research. And Laughing at Idiots says, my friend count ticks down. That's my day. I'm down 6 today, and I haven't done anything yet. I don't think I shared much of nothing. I don't know what happened. I logged on, and I was at a nice round number, which I'm fine with. I really don't care, because anytime that happens, it's never anybody that I care about. People come and go. And I actually prefer that. If you're a Facebook friend, I think this is more polite to unfriend instead of like unfollowing. Because why take up that space? You don't want any part of this. And if we don't know each other on a personal level, I think the right thing to do is just to unfriend. So it never let it bother me when I log in and it's down. It's just fascinating to me how much it is each day. Whether you do anything or not, really, because I don't think I've posted much of nothing today. Paul says, when are you going to start playing short videos again during conspiracy shows and doing conspiracy shows? I think that I want Wednesday nights to be conspiracy themed. We're going to do everything on this time slot moving forward is my idea. That's what I'm hoping this evolves into, and that we can roll everything into one. But Wednesday nights, I think I want to stick with being conspiracy themed. That's what night the conspiracy theory show used to be on, and what night people are used to that. I just figured that'd be the easiest way to stick with it moving forward. But the last video I made was Patent 666, and I didn't show it on a Conspiracy Theories and Chill, but we did watch it on a feed. I don't know that it was a Wednesday, though. I'm not sure. Steve says, I watched Planet of the Humans. I am 45 minutes into that, and I am hoping that there's some hope put forth on the back end of that movie, because the front end is bumming me the fuck out. Solar power and wind power and all of this, electric cars and all of this green renewable energy sources, etc. A lot of it, when you really look and dig, it's kind of bullshit, and it's not that sustainable. Like those wind turbines. I remember we went to Colorado on vacation recently, and I was super impressed driving through there how many wind turbines I saw. It stuck with me to this day when I heard them say that each one of these towers, these wind turbines, lasts only 20 years. What? This is... that changes things a little bit. I'm not as impressed. How is this a good idea? I want the end of this movie to bring it around and show me, because they make a very good case in this first half of how everything we're doing as far as green efforts are going is actually making things worse. Susan says, can't get Facebook to link up. I don't know why people have problems. Well, yeah, I do. We covered it already. Because this is an Orwellian nightmare we're living in, literally. They've just put glitter on it and made it glossy and neat so that you don't notice it and you don't react. But it's there. Kathy says, read Howard Zinn. I have heard that before, that name. That's familiar to me, so I'm going to... Wait, now I can pin messages? That's new. I've never been able to do that before. Huh. I don't know what that did. I just had to do it because it's a new thing. Helen says, I don't even know who left. I never do. I never do. It's no one I care about. Susan says, I'm on YouTube. Hey, Azora. And you just reminded me I need to say hi to YouTube. Kilo, what's up? I work in a machine shop for industrial machine repair, and we haven't really slowed, just everyone wearing masks. You know, Illinois has passed, I don't know that it was passed, but they're making it a rule that everyone has to wear masks, right, Helen? Is that true? Helen shared something about that. Helen lives in Illinois, and I think I saw something about that. They're extending their lockdown and requiring their citizens to wear masks. Well, the comments, I'm trying to catch up. Paul says do an hour-long Rona special. I don't know what to call that because that is a catchword now. If you say that word on YouTube and Facebook and any platform that tracks you, really, and tracks words like that with their algorithm, you get tagged. And you can get taken down on YouTube now, your channel taken away, because of speaking against the Rona. Like, I don't even know if that's far enough away from the actual word to get away with it, but I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. I don't know how to cover stuff anymore, Paul. You know, especially the Rona. It's hard to get anything out. Everything is so heavily suppressed. You know, I reposted Out of Shadows to my YouTube channel because the source that I got it from actually requested that people do that because they're trying to take it down. So the more sources that it's on, the better for the video, the more places it shows up. And I just have a little bitty channel, so it doesn't even really matter. You can't share that video to Reddit. That's interesting to me. You know, Reddit started as like this place of freedom. But I guess it's under complete control now as well. Because I couldn't share it to any group on Reddit. And I'm part of a lot of groups over there. It's interesting. Like, I've never had that happen with a post over there. The immediate red X, forbidden post, basically. Paul says the numbers in Fauci and Gates connection, dude, it goes for miles. Bill Gates. We've got to get to him. Remind me. I'm trying to catch up in the comments, but remind me. And it's in my notes. I want to talk about Bill Gates and these numbers. And the Rona. We are going to get to that. Kathy says, no, I'm so tired of the Rona. Let's all just drink Clorox instead. So, okay, let's talk about that real quick. I'm never going to catch up. This is awesome, by the way, that the comments are on fire again. I love when that happens because that does make for a better show. I'm just going to have to catch up. Steve says there's no hope on the back end. I'm going to finish it anyway. The conclusion is too many humans on the planet. The Georgia Guidestones are correct. 500 million only. Stop breeding is the only solution. So that's what this movie's selling. That agenda. They're trying. That's all it could be. I mean, is that the fact? We should just give up and give in and agree that the elite are correct and that they need to wipe a large number of us out. Kathy says Zinn's American history is unvarnished and very enlightening. I'm going to have to check that out because I've heard of that too. That rings a bell. Raymond says the governor of Michigan extended the stay-at-home order till May 15th, but several of the restrictions were lifted. How do you feel about that? Helen says extended lockdown through the end of May, but starting May 1st have to wear masks in public. Not yet, but starting in May. Logic is outlawed in Illinois. That is crazy. That's crazy. You know, I think this is going way too far. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical expert, but I know that these numbers, these projections that their reaction was based off of, were skewed, and Paul is right. Bill Gates is behind literally all of it, all of this. They planned this out. The reaction to it, at least. Any foreknowledge, I would not take off the table, but I'm not implying that. They planned out exactly what is going on right now and how they would best react to it. And then these organizations that put out these projections that everything was based on, the IMHE, and someone help me with the other one, it's something London. These two organizations that the statistics that the world based their reaction on, that all came from money that was funneled in by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill is behind all of this. He just got a patent. We just covered it in the video, patent 666, for the RFID chip, basically. And is got 7 companies that he's heavily invested in moving forward with a vaccine, even though they'll only go forward with 2. Wants it to be mandatory. Has his friend, Dr. Fauci, trying to push for it to be mandatory. I don't think it's justified. You know, we had a flu vaccine. Why hasn't that ever been mandatory? Why has no other vaccine ever been mandatory? And then they were trying to scare everybody, but the results have been so much different from the fear numbers that they put out. I'm terrible with numbers. I'm not going to even try to pull them off the top of my head. But 50,000 is where we're at right now. They were projecting this could be as high as millions of people. And even on the low end, a couple 100,000. This is a bad flu season, basically. And COVID is being overdiagnosed. That's a fact. They're not even testing everyone. If you have symptoms, a lot of times they're just going ahead and assume that you have COVID. Kilo says, pretty sure New Jersey's like that too. People have to wear masks when around other people. Azora says, I have more problems on Facebook, so I'm back on YouTube. Yeah, you know, YouTube will mess with people too, though. And there's pluses and minuses to either platform. It's hard to know what to do as far as sharing truth and talking about real issues and where to do that. Azora said the governor of North Carolina has also extended lockdown, even as protests are going on there. What do you think about the protests? The lockdown protests? Jones says in Pennsylvania they have to wear masks in public. And it's illegal to go for a drive alone in your car? What? But they are going to start opening things up on account. Why would it be illegal to go for a drive alone in your car? See what I'm saying? Kathy says, I'm keeping all protocols intact at the laundromat until Tulsa's contagion numbers go way down. We're still climbing, but the governor opened Oklahoma today, and our mayor will lift the city's shelter-in-place order on April 30th. And Kathy, I believe, is a nurse, so I take her word over it, that it's dangerous. I agree. I just don't think that it is justifiable to shut the world down over it. And I don't think we can survive it. You know, they've done nothing to help the average people. And what, 26 million people are unemployed now? It's pretty scary. Ellen says, I wonder how much Gates has invested in media outlets. They did do their part. You're absolutely right. And, you know, you're only going to know about what is on the surface, what Gates writes off and claims that he invested in different things. He's evil. Like Azora was saying on YouTube, because in the video I called him the Antichrist, or that I said he might be. I didn't call him the Antichrist. I said he may be the Antichrist. Azora was saying that he could be evil without having to have that label. I just think that's a way everybody knows what I'm talking about. You know? I think, you know, even if you don't believe in a literal Antichrist, you still know that I mean he's evil. And, you know, just a wolf in sheep's clothing. Carol says, has anyone watched The Truth About Vaccines? You should. Is that the name of it? I haven't seen it, but I would check it out. Strong, bright light. Marie says, look like Trump rallies, not protests. They were just wanting shit. Like haircuts, golf, restaurant. Basically, they want everyone back to work to serve them. I've been at work, you know. The restaurant industry, nothing's really changed. The only thing that's really changed is I don't have to deal with the lobby customers. You know, there's no one's allowed in, really. We still do takeout, but you got to, you know, get your stuff and pretty much just leave. You can't stick around. So that's all that stopped. We're just super busy in the drive-thru now. But I guess haircuts, like I noticed there was 2 girls at work, and one of them had their nails done, and the other one was like, how'd you get your nails done? She's like, I did them myself. So I guess that stuff is hard to do. Nothing changed for me. I'm an introvert, and I'm an essential employee. I still go to work every day and come home and do the same things I always did. Absolutely. It's like nothing's going on for me. Paul says the numbers are way overinflated. Even those with fake numbers, the death rate is at 1.3% with the inflated numbers. A higher number of people would have died from peanuts in that same amount of cases. You're right. You're right. And this is no worse than a bad flu season. There's been flu seasons where more people have died. There's never been this kind of reaction for it. Never been this kind of pre-planning. Like, they literally had an event. I just want to throw this out and make sure we talk about it in case you didn't know. Event 201. Look that up. They had a tabletop exercise a month before this outbreak about exactly what's happening. A coronavirus that attacks the respiratory system, becoming a pandemic, a global pandemic, and how to best respond to it. Funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. His fingerprints are all over this. It's a little sketchy. It really is. I don't know what we need to call him, but I feel like Bill Gates is one of the most evil people walking around. And I don't trust him. And his agenda, I don't want any part of. And I don't know why he's become such an expert. Why is he such a voice in this pandemic? He's not a doctor. He's not a scientist. He is a billionaire. From what I understand, he stole the company anyway, the technology that they made all their money off of. He stole that. I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble one day for for slander, because I don't know how accurate that is. I know he's evil. I probably shouldn't say that either, if I'm worried about getting sued. It would look kind of sloppy for Bill Gates to sue a live streamer, though. Kilo says, how long is the flu season? I have no idea. I'm not a doctor, again, or a medical expert, and I'm not saying there's no virus. Every time I bring this up, I feel like I need to be super responsible with what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I don't see the need to shut everything down. I think we're being conditioned for something. And also that this fear is being used to do a lot of other things. Paul says he's top fan so you can believe what he says. That's true. Those are very prestigious badges. And he was a top fan before he had the badge. So, mind blown, right? How did he pull that off? He gave himself a badge. There's a lot of power in these badges. Kathy says he's an evil guru. Look, the man scoffs at really weird times. Watch him talk. He just laughs at really awkward moments when he says something that's just wrong, and you think, oh, he's going to correct himself. No, instead he has just a little evil giggle, like he has some inside joke he understands that no one else does. He just continues on. Paul says the gate story up to this point is biblical at the least. Scary stuff. Helen says because he looks like an unassuming nerd and people think nerds would never hurt anybody. Oh, he is, he's hurt a lot of people. A lot of people. And I don't know how much I'm not going to speak on vaccines. I'm no expert. Would get torn to shreds in a debate over it, so I'm not even going to attempt. But the practices of his organization in spreading these vaccines, I can speak on that for a second. They just pay village women, not doctors. They just pay women. Hey, you know kids? Go give them these shots. They have no idea what they're doing. Their practices, I can speak on. So, I don't know. I don't feel good about Bill Gates. I don't feel good about him being in charge of this vaccine. I don't feel good about him wanting it to be mandatory. I don't feel good about any of it. Hilo says just being rich qualifies him, I guess. I guess so. I mean, I guess you can just pay for it. You can just... Susan says, I'm staying the F at home personally. I would never tell anybody what to do. I'm not worried about it. I personally am not. And I'm not saying that for any other reason that I don't think it's any more deadly than anything else. I think that they're trying to scare us to death as part of an agenda and a plan that they had in place already. They didn't necessarily even have to do it for that to be the case. They never let a crisis go to waste. Anytime something happens, they're going to capitalize on it. And they have stuff on the back burner they've been wanting to do forever. They're trying to push it through as much as they can of it right now. But every precaution, take every precaution. Absolutely. I would never tell you not to. Steve says Gates stole the idea from his college roommate and is associated with Epstein. I knew he stole something. For a second, I started to doubt myself. I started to think I was getting him confused with Zuckerberg, who also is a thief. But I knew it. Because I've been trying to research Bill Gates. And I want to cover him. I want to get into him and do kind of like a little expose on Bill. Get to know Bill a little bit. Because he wants a lot of involvement in my life. You know, he wants to chip me up, trace me, track me, pay me on my microchip. You know, the patent number, 666, right in the patent number. Again, the biblical stuff. They do that. It's not me doing it. I personally happen to be Christian. But if you watch any of my stuff, you know that you wouldn't even know that if I didn't tell you. And I'm not judgmental, and I'm not going to push my beliefs on you. I'm not telling you this stuff because of my personal beliefs. It's their beliefs. They are deeply into the occult. It's just a fact. And they like rubbing stuff in our face. Paul says the Gates Foundation had to apologize to the country of Africa for making 2/3 of the country sterile through vaccines. Marie says, I have 100 plus hours of vaccine research. Having a child when they want to have them with 70 injections in their childhood. Childhood cancer and illness is up 50%. I've had a vaccine expert on once before. She was a activist in the fight against mandatory vaccines. Very knowledgeable on vaccinations. And I spent that whole interview with my mouth open, just blown away. I couldn't believe the stuff she was saying. So we need to find out and inform ourselves about vaccines. And it's a taboo topic for a reason. When something is not allowed to be talked about, that always piques my interest. I want to know why. Now I want to talk about it. I want to know why we're not supposed to. Raymond says, did you get a chance to watch that link I posted yesterday, the interview with Howie Hawkins? I'm not done with the comments from yesterday, Raymond. I'm really not. They exploded. And they are again today, and I'm really excited about that. But, like, I get done with this show, because I get up at 4 a.m. for work. And I get done with this at about 8:30. I go to bed like 15 minutes later. And then I get off work the next day, and I go through the comments, which I got sidetracked, because I'll see something, like, no, I didn't get to see the Howie Hawkins piece, but I'll see something and then I'll have to go look it up. So it takes me forever sometimes. But I'm still working on them. I'll watch it. He says if you know the enemy, you can defeat him. It is true, though. You got to know them and know what they're about. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about my beliefs, and I'm not about pushing that on anybody. So, not like that. Hey, Eric's here. Burning your vest. Susan says it ain't worth it to gamble, and I've lived in Vegas. What's that like? What's living in Vegas like? I imagine it would be kind of a nightmare. Did you live in the strip, like down by the strip in the city? Is that what the city would be in Vegas? Or did you live in like more of a rural surrounding area? I've only been once, and I got married there by Elvis. It's a fascinating story. And then me and my ex-wife argued in every hotel on the Vegas Strip. And that is not an exaggeration. Literally every hotel on the Vegas Strip. We didn't have no money. So we just walked through the different casinos arguing. It was a fascinating adventure. One of the fondest memories in my entire life. Ozora says, I want to know if he chose the number or if it was assigned. I want to know that too. I can't find out. I don't know why. It doesn't seem like it'd be random, does it? You know? Be kind of weird if it was. The odds of that? But I can't say for a fact that he chose it. It's just very weird. Marie says doctors are only trained on how to coerce parents into vaccinating their kids, not on how they work, ingredients, or side effect. They spend 20 hours on vaccine med school. 20 hours? That's crazy. Carol says the truth about vaccines is on after your show. Do you want me to send you the link? Absolutely. Send it to me. I got a lot of catching up to do, and Carol sends me a lot of stuff. Philip as well. I'm so far behind, But again, I'm essential and we're busy. So I thought for a little while there, I was like, I'm not going to get any hours. Everything's going to be terrible because we were slow for a little while. But we're in full on lockdown in Missouri. We're busy as hell. I even had overtime on my last check. I was kind of amazed. Susan says it was a nightmare. I lived in the city, and all of us who worked there avoided the strip like the plague. I bet you did. I bet you did. I wanted to have fun. I bet it's a good place to have fun, just to go and visit. But I didn't have fun while I was there. I need to go back. I feel like I need a redo on Vegas, a complete redo on Las Vegas. Helen says, fighting in Vegas because of negative energy built on death, corruption, desperation, and loss. I probably was reacting to that. The energy of the place. You're right. Thank you. Because I am an empath. And I knew there was some reason why I was pissed the entire time we were there. And, it couldn't have been her. So it had to have been this. Helen's right. Paul says the worst thing they could do was pay us to stay at home and research their bullshit. Yeah, we do have a lot more time, right? A lot more time on our hands to look things up. And Azora says it's still very weird. Yes, it's incredibly weird. Even if it's randomly generated number, that's almost stranger. That the RFID, the literal RFID chip, would just randomly come up with the number 666 in the patent number. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. Kathy says she's replying to Paul, so I already started, so I'm going to finish. I might be out of context though. That the World Health Organization admits that the rise in polio in the third world countries is derived from vaccine strains. And they've had to admit other things as well. I don't know any off the top of my head, but I know that I've read that they had to. And it's underreported. That's probably why I can't remember it off the top of my head. Because you're not allowed to talk about it. No one wants you to talk about vaccines. Or the Rona. Or Joe Biden. There was a post that I saw, and I guess it turned out to be fake, but now it's covered up with a fake news, like little protection thing. Facebook does that now. Things that are false, they protect you from false information now. And they tell you this is fake news. But it was covered up like a gory picture. You know how they would cover videos where they're like, this video contains violence, click this if you want to see it? It was like that, but for fake news. I was like, oh my God, thank you, Facebook. I almost thought that was a real meme or a real ad from the Joe Biden campaign. Paul says the virus is in the cure. And that's a fact. That it's not. I know that's not exactly what Paul's saying, but it is in the vaccine. Susan says it's dog eat dog out there. And have you ever seen or drove through Tent City? No, I haven't. Just past Fremont Street on Las Vegas Boulevard. I've heard that is there a world in the tunnels underneath? I've heard that. I don't know if that's true or not. Kathy says I loathe Vegas. I always wanted to go there because when I was a kid, my friends' parents took them to Vegas and they stayed in the castle, the Excalibur. And the pictures made it look so cool. So I always wanted to go. And we stayed at Excalibur. We argued there too. Did a lot of arguing at Excalibur. Jack said I had a busy day playing with his dog, taking bong hit. The bong hits part I agree with because we are in Cannabis Appreciation Month. All of April this year is Cannabis Appreciation Month. And cannabis is a miracle and something that deserves our appreciation and focus and attention. So bong hits are an important part of that. I tried something for the first time today. A dab. I have never done those. I tried my first one today. I was pretty proud of myself. I like doing new stuff. Babels is afraid I'm going to fall in love with them and want them all the time. I'm not that weak. Come on, Babels. You got to cut me a little more credit. Marie says there was a documentary about the underworld of Vegas, people living in the sewers. I thought so. It's true, Susan says. Under the freeways there are tent cities. Oh my God. Raymond says I've been trimming all day. Marie says it's 42420, so double down. I did not know that. That's deep. You know, at 420, on 420, there were 420s. Tim Canova told me that during a live stream. Blew my mind. That's enough of an excuse. I don't need much of one. But I'm a cannabis aficionado. I appreciate it. I respect it. And I think we need to push for normalization. Change the narrative. Get people to understand that all walks of life, all kinds of people smoke cannabis and use cannabis and benefit from cannabis. Kilo says, why is 420 the weed day? I've heard different stories, and I don't know what's true. Somebody know what's true? I used to be told that it was the police code, but I don't think that's right. Then there's the story that there was this group of kids that would meet out and smoke at a certain time, and that's where it came from. I can't see how that's possible. How could it grow out of something so small like that? I mean, they were connected to the Grateful Dead, so it's not like these kids didn't have connections, but I don't know. Susan says dumb people who fall for the casino Kool-Aid go to Vegas. It is a weird place. It is a weird place. If you've ever been there, it's surreal. It is really weird. But we didn't go to any of the underbelly. Kilo says that 420 is Hitler's birthday. Dude, I didn't know that. Still a religious holiday. I mean, it sucks that Hitler was born on my religious holiday, but it's still a religious holiday. I don't know why, though. I have no idea why that number. I don't know. I'm going to find out, though. I'm going to look that up after the show. Raymond says, I read a long article the other day that it was the time 4 students met after class to burn one. I read that, too. I've read that. And they had some connection to the bass player of the Grateful Dead, right? It's the most common time that people light up, after school, after work, for those lucky enough, Marie says. I think we're right here. Carol says, I thought Colorado legalized weed on 420. They probably did. Bernie rolled out his marijuana legalization legislation, whatever, at 420. They do that. So that could be something that they did. That's not outside the realm of possibility. Raymond says it evolved from there and got picked up by Rolling Stone. They made it famous. So right on. So that's just like everybody's off work pretty much and out of school, and it's time to light up 420. That's your answer. See, we get things done on this show. That's the kind of results you can expect from this badass comment section. You have a question, you ask it, we're going to find out the answer. But we're all basically cyborgs walking around with a computer in our pocket. Kilo says bass players. Bass players, I want to learn how to play the bass. The bass is one of the neatest instruments. I tinker with the drums. I was about to call myself a drummer. I'm not a drummer. I don't own a drum set. I love drums. I did own a drum set at one time, but I would love to learn to play the bass. The bass is a sexy instrument and it looks fun as hell to play. I imagine that it would be very fun to play the bass. And I love the sound of it. But I hate to wrap up early tonight, but I do have to. I have a prior engagement that I have to get to, and so I do have to end at pretty much now and wrap up. But thank you so much to everybody for coming. I wish I had more time with the comment section like this. This was just kind of, I had notes for tonight, and I threw them out right before the show. Because I just wanted to get on and talk to you guys, and I feel like that's what we did. So we accomplished our mission tonight. That was the mission of tonight's show, was to hang out and share ideas and talk for a little while, and that's what we do here. So if you dig that, dig conversation, and had a good time, come back at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. I don't know the other ones. I'll have to figure it out. On Monday, from this page, the Shawn Yankey page. This is my page, and it was just a place for the show to come from. But we're growing the page. The page is becoming something cool. Brittany has been cool enough to be helping me out with it, and I really appreciate her help and the things she's been doing with it. And it's a really cool page, so click like on the page, then you can follow the shows and keep up with it. But I will see you guys on Monday for the next episode of the Shawn Yankey Show, and we will do conspiracies on Wednesday nights. Paul asked earlier when we'll do conspiracies. That was one of our regular shows, Conspiracy Theories and Chill. We'll do that Wednesday. So I need a topic. Anything you want to hear covered, conspiracy-wise. Everything's on the table, as you know. So let me know anything you want to hear about, and I'll work on it, and we'll have a new video on Wednesday, like we normally do on Wednesday nights. And we'll get back to doing that. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you Monday on the next episode.